Hey everyone, hope you are doing well. I'm pretty sure that you have completed our two episode of Gen AI. So in this episode, we'll study a little bit deeper about Gen AI, like type of Gen AI, different levels of Gen AI, and type of Gen AI based on its uses. So stay connected and keep watching.
Basics of artificial intelligence, and we understand that artificial intelligence has their own history. But in the modern world, when we have huge amount of data, the human being started to do the generic prediction. Now, whatever the human being thinks, if we put that into the system and the system thinks similar as the human beings, what a new trend started that is called generative AI. Now, mostly it is popular as Gen AI. Generative AI is the new trend, and most of the companies are introducing generative AI in their daily work. It reduces the effort of the human beings because real generative AI can create the product very similar to human beings, and it can create the logics, the codes, the text, the pictures, or the images which is not exist actually. That means it is creating new knowledge. So generative AI actually giving the human being a challenge on imaginations. So if I talk about the basics of generative AI, before that we need to understand what is AI. And AI, artificial intelligence, everybody knows about that. It need a huge amount of data. We call the here as it's shown, a vast volume of data is there, and the system learn all this data, and we put all these algorithms, everything when we'll discuss in detail what is inside that. And from the data and from the algorithm, it built a intelligent system. So the system understand everything, predict everything, do synthesization based on the volume of the data and the algorithm what we put there, and based on that it behaves. So that's the artificial intelligence. But when we proceed further, this artificial intelligence is divided into two parts. One part we call the type 1, where we have three type of intelligence. We call that narrow AI, general AI, and strong AI. Whereas part 2, based on the uses, we say that reactive machines, limited memory machines, then very similar to your mind but weak, and self-awareness machines. So when I'm saying all these tips, we need to understand what exactly is weak AI. Your computers have all these algorithms, all the operating system, everything is there. But whatever you give the data or the task, based on that, it will give the output. You can take the example of calculator where you put all the multiplication thoughts and it is giving you the output. Now, the point here is weak AI is enhanced with general AI, which is performing like a human being, like robots, like robotic devices, the analytical algorithms used in search engines. That means as human being thinks or human being have the ability, similarly, the AI will have that ability that we call the general AI. But if any artificial intelligence or any machine which is more capable than human being, we call that super AI. Okay, super AI. These days, very less examples, but some drones are using super AI. They can visualize, they can recognize, they can fire to the particular object, and they can save itself from any fire to that. And it calculated based on the data analysis, all these senses. So it is behaving superior than human being. Okay. So then you would call that super AI. So all these days, whatever the news are coming, where the machines will take over the human being, that is because the threat of super AI. So when the machines are more powerful than human being, will they take over this world? So there are a lot many discussions are going on that. So very popular scientists, they mention that we don't know actually what is AI will do with us. One of the scientists who is very popular, and he mentioned that maybe generative AI will be the next future, and they will make humans their slaves. There are many thoughts are there. Still, the human brain is currently is superior than the artificial intelligence. Now, when I'm talking on this, the human being brain is why it is more superior than the artificial intelligence, because it can imagine, it can create new things. Now, if we see the stages, how it increased the AI stuff. So initially, we don't have the data storage facility. We have data storage facility comes with the different databases. Before that, mostly whenever we use AI, we using the algorithms. So algorithms we have, and based on these algorithms, you can calculate and predict the answers. Now, when we have got this storage, or you can say we can store data, we are slowly moving from algorithm to narrow AI, where we can predict based on our previous data. So if you saw any movies or anything, you can saw that if there is any criminal to whom the police is chasing, they always go with their records. They understand what that person is thinking, what would be their next step. Very similar to that, once we get all the data, we can understand what would be the next step. And when we have huge data, big data is introduced, the data scientists are there, they filter the data and put into a particular format. And we're expecting the result from the data. When we have huge storage, and with the technology, we are able to store all the data with very less expensive. Then we started to progress towards wide AI. And once wide AI, these days the wide AI is going on, slowly, we are moving towards generative AI. Okay. That means what happened, the AGI, that artificial generative AI is introduced. Okay, that means we understand all the algorithms, we have storage, huge amount of the data storage, and based on those algorithms, data storage, we are able to generate new data. We means the system can able to generate new data. So slowly, they are starting imagination. So whatever the human beings do, the machine started to do that. So we call that AGI, artificial generative AI. And we are progressing towards the strong AI. That means the machines are more powerful, more faster than human brains. So that's where the strong AI come into picture. Now, if we see the uses of this AI, how these AI are uses, based on the uses, you can see it's moving from narrow AI to strong AI. Why? It's moving from narrow AI to strong AI because of the data storage. When we have less data, we have narrow AI. When the data storage is huge and we can handle the data, by using these algorithms and the predictive analysis, we can create new data. We can create uh, whatever is not existing. That means we are moving towards strong AI. So you can see limited memory. So these days, all of you are using Chat GPT. That is one of the example of generative AI tool, which is based on the limited memory. That means you think still they are using in uh, huge amount of data storage to get the answers. Still, we call them as limited memory AI. Similarly, the self-driving cars. Okay, what is required to drive a car? You need a car. You need a GPS, because you need to understand from destination, where from where you need to start, source and destination, and then you need the skills. Now, if the car has skills, okay, they can sense and they can drive. That skill will be introduced, and they have the GPS knowledge, okay, because they know the source point and destination point. Now it can drive itself. So self-car driving is one of the limited memory example. Virtual assistants. Virtual assistants is very popular right now in medical segment. So where they'll put the machine will operate the body, okay, and they are operating very accurately, okay, because they know the human body. Say what exactly doctor know. They know what to do in a human body, and the knowledge of human body the doctor has. They know the multiple layers. The skin is there, the blood is there, the cells are there. So at which level they can get the artery or where they need to operate. So those accuracies, if we put into the virtual assistive devices, they can do that. One of the major virtual assistive devices, telemedicine. You say everything to that virtual doctor. It will understand your symptoms and give you the medicines, which is very old in nature, but it is also very popular. Then we come to a self-aware AI, which is mm, very popular in different segments. Like they evolve like human intelligence, self-awareness. So when as the development of IoT, so this IoT is getting lot much information from different sources. Okay. So what are those sources? We call that senses devices. So as you are recording the video, you have audio, you have books. All these are in different format of the data, and the IoT, like there is a book, you put that book on a scanner, they scan everything. So all the knowledge into that IoT, sorry, into that system. There are machines like your video cam, so or webcam, or your audio devices like your mobile, um, the temperature sensors devices. There are devices which is sensing the pressure and the environmental controls. So all these devices which get this data and put into a database and make the decisions based on those data, we call them self-aware um, generative AI. In that case, what will happen? They will take the decision. Okay, when to go, when not to go, when to start, when not to start. One of the very simple example here, street lighting. In street lighting, there is a sensing device which is uh, understand the luminosity. Okay, and based on that, it will switch on the light and switch off the light. So whatever is manually done, those converted into artificial intelligence. Now, self-powered devices are so advanced, they can, like as I gave one example of a drone, they can take the decision, they can save themselves, they can energize themselves, they can move, they can target, and they can proceed, and they are more intelligent than human. Okay. Apart from that, reactive, which is as I say that these luminosity sensors, they based on the light, they react and they give you the details. Or if you have ever searched any engine, like search engine, you are putting some search words, it automatically catches that and recommend new type of shopping objects. Those are reactive in nature because whatever you are doing or the user doing, based on that they are getting the input and they will suggesting the similar type of products or similar type of stuff to you. One of the example is your Netflix or Spotify. Whatever you listen or whatever you watch, based on that they'll suggest similar kind of movies or series or um, YouTube videos, right? So those things are there. Then theory of mind. Now this is again. It is comes under the super AI, where you need to understand the others. The machine need to understand the others, and once they understand, based on that, they will take the decision. Okay. So reactive AI is also understanding based on your inputs, but theory of mind is understanding even if you are not giving input, they are scanning your face, and from there they can understand your emotion. They can understand what exactly you are thinking. Based on that, they will suggest something. Okay, so that is part of strong AI. Now, humans are developing this not from today. For a long time, they develop all those stuff. You can say, you can see there are examples where we are using this reactive AI, and we are using different patterns to achieve this stuff or the reactive AI. Like you have classification pattern recognition, because at the end of the day, you need to understand the data. And from the data, you have to capable enough to predict the next information or next data. So the historical data, if we use and we create a graph, and from the graph, we can understand what would be the next data. And to do that, we are using many parameters, or you can say many information points or data points to get the output. So reactive AI based on that. Limited memory AI, it is also capturing all the information, but storing in the data. And from the historical data, it predict what would be the next. So it use both complex classification task and historical prediction data. Apart from that, they also use the self-sensing devices to take the decision. So like self-driving car. Then you have neural network kind of stuff where there are critical and complex algorithms are used to take the decisions which are very critical in nature, very similar to our neural network of our brain. So that is theory of mind, whereas self-awareness is, it will go through all the senses, all the data, all the environmental information and critical algorithm to take the decision. Now, self-powered AI is again part of strong AI. People are still working on that. Now, if we put this AI in a segment, we can say the super AI or the general AI and the narrow AI, all three are the concept for AI. But currently, the narrow AI is popular because narrow AI mostly based on the machine learning. Okay. So machine learning, what they need, mostly narrow AI, two things, data and algorithms. Obviously, they are also getting the sensing devices and they can take the decision. So human beings are slowly moving from narrow AI to general AI, which is mostly your generative AI. So under narrow AI, we have different kind of learning, because without learning, the human cannot do anything and the machines also cannot do anything. Like if you consider a baby, when the baby take bath, and they will not have any information about the world. They have very limited information for survivability. So that baby will learn new things with the time and they become intelligent, right? So if they learn, let it be, they learn Odia language, they can speak Odia. If they learn English language, they can speak English. Okay. So similarly, we also put the data from which we need to predict the next step, and we say that uh, limited memory data. Now, when the limited or narrow AI comes into picture, the data comes into picture. Apart from that, obviously the critical algorithms. So the learning which we put into the machine, we call that machine learning, and it is of four types. Um, Initially, it was of two types, supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Then afterwards, we understand that we can merge some of the data and we can use some of the critical algorithm and we put together and we call that semi-supervised learning. Then we understand that we can refine every time the outputs. Okay. So whatever we learn currently, Based on our more data or experience or more advanced algorithms, we can refine that. So each time we are refining, we are doing the corrections. So that's how we call that reinforcement learning. So as I told yesterday or in some sessions, so the whole science is based on the hypothesis. And each time when we are learning new things, we are refining that new things. So when I was a kid, we are told that um, we cannot break down the atom. But when slowly the time we change, people can understand, yeah, atom can be broken and there will be electrons and protons. Then people say, okay, that is the end. No. Then protons can be broken. And when proton can be broken, they call that there are strings inside the proton. So proton is broken and neutron and protons are coming and sorry, nucleus is broken, proton and neutrons coming, and proton is broken, from their strings are coming. And from strings, now they did some experiment. They found that there is another stuff inside that we call that God particles. And from there, all people are getting the energy. So that means the science is getting updated and we are updating our knowledge. Similarly, machines are getting the information, so new algorithms that they are updating their decision making system. So we call that reinforcement learning. Now, as all our machine learning, we'll discuss in details the concept of machine learning in some sessions. But with the progress of the machine learning, we develop a process, okay, to create the models. Okay. Now, to understand how we are developing there are some set of rules are introduced. Okay, like we are developing the project. Similarly, we are developing the machine learning models through some steps. So these steps are basically divided into 5 phases. So first you need to set a task. Okay, define a task, what you want to do. Let's, the task is summarizing the story. Select the model, what you exactly want. So you need to select a model. Model means the data set would be there and you have to fix the parameters like the summarization should within some words, let it be 50 words or 100 words. Then you could collect the data. So collect the data. If there would be big books which has 500 pages, your summarization may be in 100 words. If there would be small books, your summarization may be 50 books. So based on your collection of the data, you need to understand how to split them. When you are collecting the data, there are major two tasks. You have to first clean the data because whatever the system we are going to use, it should learn that data. So always when the data comes, it comes with some garbage, some data which is not readable, some data which are not clean. So cleaning of the data, making that as per our format, that is one of the major tasks. Then split into validation set if necessary. So we'll mostly to understand the data more detail, we split the data. We are dividing into small pieces. Okay. And finally, we train the model. Okay. When the data is coming, you should split them, you should put them together in a particular way or particular algorithm. So that is the training of the model. And we put many data every time and this machine will learn and they try to make it more accurate, more accurate, more accurate. Once the learning will be over, evaluate the model by giving it to others. They do the testing, they choose the different matrices, and they say, okay, it is okay. Then your model is preferred. So that's how the whole process is progressed to develop a machine learning uh, model. Okay. Now, all these things are still there, but still we are away from machine generative AI. So the generative AI comes into picture after the machine learning. We are moving towards the next type of AI, which is called general AI. General AI, what is general AI? It is behaving very similar to humans. So you can see generative AI is specifically designed to generate new content as its primary output, whether this is text, image, product suggestions, whatever is new, that's what generative AI is designed to do. So now that we know where generative AI fits in, okay, that means when we need new suggestions, new text, new images, new product advices, we say that we are using generative AI. So that is basic definition. When we are generating new content from the artificial intelligence, we call that generative AI. So most of the uses of the generative AI these days, means current time, is image generation, video generation or synthesization, language generation or music composition. Now, image generation is mostly or vastly used in the movie industries. Video synthesization mostly used by the youth, like all these social platforms, they generate the videos and they put that. So synthesization is happening. They are merging language generation, all your chat GPTs, all the LLM, we call large language models, are generating the language, including your codes, your answers, whatever you are looking for, it will give you all the answers. If it is a good LLM. Okay, so that means developers need not to put much effort. They can ask to the system and it will give you the output. Students, they just need to teach the book to the LLM and it will give you the answers. Okay, so similarly, music compositions, new music are coming. Even not in just music, the paintings are coming from images, the videos are coming from, and sometimes it is so deep fake that people can not recognize whether it is a real one or a fake one. So deep fake is another part of video generation, image generation. That means they are understanding the data, and based on the data, they're generating all the new content which is not existing. Okay. So generative AI is the new world. So welcome to the generative AI sessions.
Hope you people enjoyed this video. If you like our video, please do like, share and subscribe our channel.